burning these cattle might still release into the air significant amounts of the undetected agent of BSE, though it was 10 years on, and this time the burnings were for foot and mouth, which people weren't known to get. Yet. "Well, Jack," Ellie had said, stroking the back of his neck, "did we make a good move, or did we make a good move?" But he'd needed to resist the strange opposite feeling, that he should have been there, back at Jeb, in the thick of it. It was his proper place. BSE, then foot and mouth. What would have been the odds? Those TV pictures had looked like scenes from hell. Flames leaping up into the night. Even so, cattle aren't people. Just a few months later, Jack had turned on the telly once again and called to Ellie to come and look, as people must have been calling out all over the world to whoever was in the next room, "Drop what you're doing and come and look at this." More smoke, not over familiar remembered hills, and even on the far side of the world, though Jack's first thought, or perhaps his second, had been the somehow entirely necessary and appropriate one. Well, we should be all right here at the bottom of the Isle of Wight. And while the TV had seemed to struggle with its own confusion and repeated again and again, as if they might not be true, the same astonishing sequences, he'd stepped outside to look down at the sight, as if half expecting everything to have vanished. 32 white units, all still there, and among them, on the grass, a few idle and perhaps still ignorant human sprinkles. But inside each caravan was a television, and some of them must be switched on. The word must be spreading. In the ship, in the Sands Cafe, it must be spreading. It was early September, late season, but the middle of a beautiful, clear Indian summer day, the sea a smooth, smiling blue. Until now, at least, they would all have been congratulating themselves on having picked a perfect week. He'd felt a surge of helpless responsibility, of protectiveness. He was in charge. What should he do? Go down and calm them? In case they were panicking? Tell them it was all right? Tell them it was all right just to carry on their holidays. That was what they'd come for and had paid for, and they shouldn't let this spoil things. They should carry on enjoying themselves. But his next thought, though perhaps it had really been his first, and he'd pushed it aside, and it was less a thought, maybe, than a cold, clammy premonition, was, what might this mean for Tom? He looks now at the same view from the bedroom window of Lookout Cottage, though the weather's neither sunny nor calm. Clouds are charging over Holm Head. A November gale is careering up the channel. The sea, white flecks in its greyness, seems to be travelling in a body from right to left, west to east, as if some retreat is going on. Rain stings the glass in front of him. Ellie has been gone for over an hour, this weather yet to unleash itself when she left. She could be sitting out the storm somewhere, pulled up in the wind-rocked Cherokee, reconsidering her options perhaps, or she could have done already exactly what she said she'd do and be returning, having to take it slowly, headlights on in the blinding rain. Or returning, who knows, behind a police car with not just its headlights on, but its blue light flashing. Reconsidering her options? But she made the move and said the words. The situation is plain to him now, and despite the blurring wind and rain, Jack's mind is really quite clear. She had her own set of keys, of course. All she had to do was grab her handbag and walk out the door. But she might have remembered another set of keys that Jack certainly hasn't forgotten. Has it occurred to her even now? Ellie, who was usually the one who thought things through, and him the slow coach? Ellie, Jack thinks. My Ellie. He's already taken the shotgun from the cabinet downstairs. The keys are in the lock, and brought it up here. It's lying, loaded on the bed behind him, on the white duvet. For good measure, he has a box of 25 cartridges, some already in his pocket, in case of police cars, in case of mishaps. It's the first time, Jack thinks, that he's ever put a gun on a bed, let alone theirs, and that, by itself, has to mean something. As he peers through the window, he can feel the weight of the gun behind him, making a dent in the duvet as if it might be some small, sleeping body. Well, one way or another, they'd never...